Welcome to Twisted in Time Tuesday's episode for September 10th. What's something people don't know about the Battle of Marathon? The year was 490 BC, or was it 491 BC? Scholars have debated this for centuries, each presenting their own evidence and theories. History, it seemed, couldn't quite make up its mind. The records were murky, the dates often conflicting, and the truth elusive. But one thing was certain: the Persian Empire, a vast, glittering behemoth, had set its sights on Greece. Their ambition knew no bounds. Their goal? Conquest, of course. They sought to expand their already immense empire to bring Greece under their control. And so, under the blazing Mediterranean sun on the dusty plains of Marathon, two worlds collided. It was a clash of titans, a battle for the ages. On one side, the mighty Persian army, a force to be reckoned with. They were well-trained, well-equipped, and vastly outnumbered their opponents. On the other, a ragtag band of Athenian soldiers, outnumbered, outmatched, and, well, let's just say, not exactly the sharpest tools in the shed. Yet they had something the Persians didn't: an unyielding spirit and a fierce determination to defend their homeland. So, Phil, boomed a voice deep and resonant as a Greek god's, tell us what brings you to this battlefield.
Well, sir, I thought it was the annual village bake-off. I make a mean honey cake, you see.
The unseen interviewer choked back a guffaw. The bake-off, you say? And tell me, Phil, how do you plan to defeat the Persians with a honey cake?
Well, I was thinking of maybe tripping them up with the figs.
The Battle of Marathon, a clash of civilizations, a struggle for freedom, was about to begin. The air crackled with tension, the ground trembled with anticipation, and the smell of roasting lamb wafted from a nearby food stall. Yes, even in the midst of impending warfare, a Greek had to eat. The Persians, resplendent in their colorful robes and gleaming armor, charged. The Athenians, looking slightly confused, charged back. Weapons clashed, shields clanged, and the occasional stray chicken squawked in terror. Phil, caught in the melee, tripped over a discarded sandal and landed headfirst into a basket of grapes. The battle raged on, a whirlwind of absurdity and chaos, with soldiers clashing in a frenzy of confusion. But fate, it seemed, had other plans for Phil, who was caught in the middle of this madness. Emerging from his grape-stained refuge, he looked around in bewilderment. He found himself behind enemy lines, entirely alone, with no allies in sight. And utterly oblivious to the chaos around him, Phil wandered aimlessly. Mistaking the retreating Persian army for something far less threatening, he thought they were engaged in a particularly lively game of hopscotch. With a shrug, he decided to head home, thinking the battle was over. And so, our accidental hero began his triumphant trek back to Athens, his steps filled with determination. Stopping only for the occasional snack break at conveniently placed roadside stalls, he enjoyed the journey. Figs, olives, dates. Phil sampled it all, savoring each bite as he leisurely made his way. His demeanor utterly at odds with the momentous news he carried, Phil's pace was unhurried, almost casual. As he walked through the scenic landscape, he couldn't help but enjoy the beauty around him, despite the urgency of his mission. Finally, he arrived at the city gates of Athens, greeted by curious citizens eager to hear his tale. With a deep breath, Phil delivered the news, his journey complete and his story just beginning. Finally, after days of travel, fueled by the bounty of the Greek countryside, Phil stumbled into the Athenian agora. The citizens, their faces etched with worry, gathered around him.
Tell us, soldier, what news from Marathon?
Persians ran out of figs.
A stunned silence fell over the crowd.
We have won. The Persians are defeated.
Then, misinterpreting Phil's garbled message as a sign of victory, cheers erupted.
We have won. The Persians are defeated.
People embraced, tears of joy flowed freely, and Phil, utterly bewildered by the commotion, was hoisted onto the shoulders of the jubilant crowd. And so, dear viewers, the Battle of Marathon passed into legend, a tale of improbable victory and even more improbable heroism. The warriors who fought that day became the stuff of myths, their deeds echoing through the annals of time. It was a moment that would be remembered for centuries, a testament to the indomitable human spirit. As for Phil, well, he continued to be Phil, a constant source of bewildered amusement in an otherwise serious world. His antics never failed to bring a smile to those around him, even in the most somber of times. Phil was a reminder that life, no matter how grave, always had room for a bit of humour. The beach at Marathon now transformed into a bustling tourist destination. The sands that once bore the footprints of warriors now host sunbathers and volleyball players, a stark contrast to its storied past. Phil sips a cocktail from a coconut shell, blissfully unaware of his place in history. The world around him buzzes with activity, yet he remains in his own little bubble of contentment, a living anachronism in a modern world. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next installment of our historical adventures. We promise more laughs, more history, and more Phil. Well, okay, if not Phil, someone else. Thank you for watching Twisted in Time Tuesdays. Stay tuned for more episodes just as odd, if not more peculiar, coming up on Twisted in Time Tuesdays.